Can you believe it? As early as 65 million years ago, dinosaurs were never just feral beasts that only roared and lived a primitive life. In fact, they had already built a highly advanced civilization, dwelling in skyscrapers thousands of meters high, and even worrying about morning rush hour traffic jams. This is no nonsense at all. It is the most thought-provoking theoretical model in the scientific community, the Solarian hypothesis. The reason you think humans are extraordinary and believe the civilization we created is immortalist, that you have seriously underestimated the destructive power of time, this monstrous force. Let's conduct a thought experiment. Suppose all humans suddenly disappear tomorrow, just like Thanos snapping his fingers. How long do you think the traces we leave behind can last? In just 50 years, unmaintained nuclear power plants will leak and contaminate groundwater, submerging subway systems across the world. In just 500 years, the reinforced concrete forest you take pride in will completely collapse due to steel corrosion, reduced to a pile of rubble. In just 5,000 years, all electronic components will turn to dust. As for those grand cross-sea bridges and massive dams, under the compression of plate tectonic movement, it only takes millions of years for Earth, this giant crusher, to recycle and reshape them completely. For Earth, with a 4.5 billion year history, what are a mere few million years? It is nothing more than the time it takes for it to yawn. This means all physical traces will be completely erased by the eraser of time. Here comes the question, and it is also the core reason why many people refuse to believe prehistoric civilizations existed. If dinosaurs had a civilization, why have we never unearthed fossilized cars driven by dinosaurs? Why haven't we found even a single dinosaur skeleton holding a mobile phone? Let me share a little known fact. The probability of fossil formation is even lower than winning the lottery jackpot 10 times in a row. The conditions for a creature to become a fossil are incredibly harsh. First, you have to die at exactly the right place and time. You must perish in oxygen-free silt, not eaten by scavengers, not decomposed by bacteria. Second, you have to be buried rapidly, which usually means you have to die in a flood or a mudslide. Third, you need extraordinary luck to survive tens of millions of years of crustal compression, high temperatures, and corrosion from acidic soil. Scientists estimate that all dinosaur fossils discovered by humans so far add up to only a few thousand complete specimens. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for 160 million years, while humans have existed for a mere 200,000 years. If all 8 billion humans on Earth today were buried underground, tens of millions of years later, the number that could form fossils for alien civilizations to discover might not even be one lucky individual. As for industrial products like cars, mobile phones and computers, don't even hold out hope. Most of them contain iron, plastic, and glass. In damp underground conditions, iron will completely oxidize into red powder in just a few thousand years, merging into the soil. Glass will be crushed into sand under high pressure. Though plastic is hard to degrade, it will be worn down into micron-sized particles, leaving no trace of its original shape at all. If all physical evidence vanishes completely, how can we break this deadlock? We have two brilliant minds to thank. Point one is Gavin Schmidt, director of NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies. The other is Adam Frank, an astrophysicist at the University of Rochester. It was back in 2018. Adam Frank originally went to NASA to discuss how to search for civilizations on other planets, but as they talked, Gavin suddenly asked a soul-stirring question. Adam, we always assume alien civilizations exist out there, but how do we prove ourselves are the only civilization that ever existed on Earth? The question silenced both men instantly, because they realized that by geological standards, human civilization has existed for an extremely short time. The Industrial Revolution began only a few hundred years ago. Even if we count the time humans learned to farm, it is merely 10,000 years. In rock strata, these 10,000 years form only a thin layer a few centimeters thick. If we compress Earth's entire history into one single day, human civilization exists only in the last 2 seconds. If another industrial civilization arose in the 1 second before that, would we ever be able to detect it? They then officially published a research paper, putting forward the Solarian hypothesis. Its core logic is rigorous: physical traces fade away, but chemical signatures last forever. No matter what form an industrial civilization takes, whether reptilian or mammalian, once it reaches the industrial stage, it is bound to do one thing: burn energy and produce waste. Such large-scale changes in material circulation will leave a unique sedimentary layer in geological strata. This is the geological fingerprint of a civilization. If you were an alien archaeologist 100 million years from now, scanning Earth's rock layers with the most advanced instruments, what would you discover? You would find this layer of rock bears all the marks of humanity's legacy. These three fingerprints can never be concealed by any industrial civilization. The first fingerprint, a sharp plummet in carbon isotopes. Because we burn massive amounts of coal and oil without restraint, coal and oil are formed from ancient plants containing a special type of light carbon isotope. When we burn through hundreds of millions of years of reserves in one go, the ratio of carbon isotopes in the atmosphere is thrown instantly out of balance. It is like splashing a bottle of ink onto Earth's diary page. No matter how much time passes, this page will forever stay black. As long as an industrial civilization burns fossil fuels, this trace will remain eternal. The second fingerprint, immortal plastic. This is perhaps the most prominent artificial mark humanity has left on Earth. Plastic can never be degraded naturally by the planet. Whether it's milk tea straws or plastic bags, they will eventually be ground into micron-sized particles and settle on the seabed. 100 million years later, geologists will uncover a thin layer of rock mixed with synthetic polymers that do not exist in nature. This is plasticlomer. It will wrap tightly around the era we once lived in, like a layer of plastic wrap. The third fingerprint, and the most special one, nuclear radiation traces. Even if everything of human civilization fades away, one substance will still glow: plutonium-244 and iodine-129. These radioactive isotopes are extremely rare in nature, mainly coming from nuclear weapons tests and nuclear reactor leaks. Though their half-lives are long, compared to geological time, it is still a fleeting flash. Yet it is enough to prove that at this exact point in time, a certain species on Earth mastered the power to split atoms and wielded this power against itself. This thin layer of sediment only a few centimeters thick, mixed with microplastics, radiation residues and anomalous carbon elements is the only line written by human civilization in Earth's geological diary. Since any industrial civilization will leave such fingerprints, have we actually found such traces in Earth's geological history? If you ask a geologist, he will solemnly take out a chart, point to a node 56 million years ago, and say to you, "Look right here. Something is off." This is the famous Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. Over a period of several thousand years, Earth suddenly spiked with a severe fever, with global temperatures surging by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius, even palm trees grew in the Arctic. Meanwhile, massive amounts of carbon were poured into the atmosphere uncontrollably, causing severe ocean acidification and a mass extinction of deep-sea species. Does this sound familiar? Exactly. It is almost an exact copy of what humans are doing right now. Though the rate and total amount of carbon released back then were slightly slower than modern industrial emissions, by geological standards, it was an astonishingly rapid surge. Mainstream scientific explanations today suggest it may have been massive volcanic eruptions in the North Atlantic or the sudden release of submarine methane hydrates. But the Solarian hypothesis offers an undeniable possibility. What if the previous overlords of Earth developed an industrial civilization and then lost control of it? Perhaps a nuclear war of theirs triggered a chain reaction, or their unrestrained industrial emissions sent the greenhouse effect spiraling out of control. That sudden spike in carbon emissions may not have been the roar of volcanoes, but the price paid for a civilization spiraling out of development. We cannot prove it was a civilization, but the most terrifying part is we also cannot disprove it. As we said earlier, all physical evidence, their cities, their machines, their bones, vanished completely over tens of millions of years. All we are left with is this ambiguous set of chemical data, like a huge unsolved riddle. Of course, the Solarian hypothesis remains merely a thought experiment for now. Scientists have never actually unearthed dinosaur nuclear reactors. But the true significance of this hypothesis lies far beyond searching for dinosaur civilizations. It is a wake-up call for humanity itself. We always think we are special, that we gaze at towering skyscrapers, at rockets flying toward Mars, and arrogantly believe civilization is the ultimate form of Earth's evolution, a glory exclusive only to us. We take it for granted that as long as we carve our names on this planet, we will never be erased. But the Solarian hypothesis coldly reminds us, even if you transform Earth into a steel planet, even if you burn up every drop of oil completely, in the 4.5 billion year river of time, you are nothing more than a few centimeters thick layer of sedimentary rock. Perhaps civilization is not a straight upward line, but a repeating cycle. Long before humans, Earth may have been bustling with life countless times. There may have truly been intelligent beings who gazed up at the starry sky just like us, who bickered over trivial matters just like us, who believed they possessed eternity just like us. Yet in the end, they all vanished into the abyss of time, leaving not even an echo behind. This is the greatest horror of all. The cruelest law of the universe is not destruction, but its ability to completely erase the meaning of your existence. So now, standing at the peak of industrial civilization, as we recklessly exhaust emissions into the atmosphere and dump garbage into the oceans, we ought to pause and reflect. If 100 million years from now, new intelligent life uncovers that layer of rock mixed with plastic and radiation fingerprints, what will they think of us? They may point to that thin black layer and wonder in confusion, look, there once existed a group of creatures, they wielded godlike technology, yet all they left behind is a warning that civilization cannot last forever.